had stumbled across. Actually, I posted the other day about a healer is not someone that you go to for healing. It's actually a person that triggers you to want to heal yourself. And me and Hubs, we was talking about basically a healer is, what did we say?
Healing is in the eye of the healed, in the sense that your healing is not based on what other people perceive it to be, or who the facilitators of that healing, other people might perceive it to be. It's all based on what you perceive it to be. Because one person could look at what a person did to them as damaging, and another person could look at the same exact thing as healing, or at least something that led you towards healing or a deeper understanding. Yeah. And Zyla is determined to be in the shop. She got the yoga mat. She trying to stretch it out.
Yeah. So I thought
you say hi to everybody. Zyla. Look. Say hi.
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 Uh-oh. Here, there it goes. You think you're here? But I thought that was really interesting to arrive at that understanding, that even those who are not even conscious, obviously, I don't think anybody, well, I don't want to say that, but those who leave that impact on you of hurt, pain, and confusion and stuff, there can be healing taken away from that situation. It's all based on a person's perception. And so it just, like I said, I just arrived at the idea, like actually everybody is really healers. Now some people are more conscious about their choice in actively wanting to be a spark to other people healing journey and stuff. But
yeah, because I mean, like, as far as like the damage goes, it's all about where the damage leads you, which gives you your ultimate perception of what it was really all about.
Right.
For example, like, you could have grown up with a rough childhood, and it could be single parent, abusive household, split family, and we both went through different situations that gave us a really good understanding. It led us down a path that we had a greater understanding of what we didn't like about our situations that we went through. And that greater understanding ended up reciprocating back to some of the very people who inadvertently led us down that path in the first place, which caused them to experience a level of healing. So she made a good point by saying that really, unconsciously or subconsciously, they sent us on a path to go learn stuff to bring back to them so they could get a greater healing from it. And it's just, that's a mature way to look at it. And it takes accountability, it takes forgiveness, it takes love. In order for you to look at it that way, you gotta embrace it first of all. You can't keep on saying that, oh, I went through this and why did I have to go through this?
The blame game.
People went through worse, trust me. No matter how bad you might think your situation was, it's somebody who went through exactly the same thing you went through and look at it completely differently. And it's some people that went through way worse than what you think that you went through. And I'm not saying that either one person's is worse than the other, because it's not really about it's not about that, it's about how it affected you. So you could have went through less than another person, but it could have still affected you more. Right. But you just gotta always keep in mind, it's always somebody that could have went through worse. Right. It's about, where is that gonna lead you? Are you gonna stop with the damage or the violation or whatever it was that you felt like caused you to feel negative? Are you gonna stop there, or are you gonna pursue it to see where it takes you? Because that's where it's trying to take you. It's trying to take you on a journey so you can have a greater understanding. Like, we just extensions of the universe, and this is like, the universe is one big intelligent organism becoming conscious of itself every day through its creations. And I say it as far as energy, not male, female, one single entity. The whole collective is like one gigantic organism trying to learn itself. The same thing that we should be doing on our level is all about learning yourself. Self-mastery is what's going to lead you to external mastery in any direction. If you don't master yourself, then you can't master anything else.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we just wanted to wow, that's a big revelation, and we just kind of wanted to impart that on others. Again, your journey, grow or stay stagnant based on your understanding. Like a lot of people that have gone through certain things, it's more comfortable for them to stay where they are, continue to victimize the situation. Is they're able to self-identify as certain things based on what they went through, and it's more comfort there to actually say, I forgive, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? You're not necessarily, when you forgive, it's not necessarily for another person, because you don't know whether or not that exchange of forgiveness is received, or it's reciprocity there. It's really for yourself, and sometimes that is it ain't easy, I'm gonna forgive this person, they did X, Y, and Z, or I'm a whatever. You're like, no, they deserve for me to continue to conduct myself this way or be angry or whatever. And it's honestly, everything that I believe that everything that have come into our lives is for a reason. So that person that you dated, that score you got on your test, whatever, it happened for a reason. It's just based on how you perceived it. Oh, this was meant to keep me in a box or set me back or blah blah blah.
Healing is in the eye of the healed.
Yeah.
And forgiveness is a big what's the word I'm looking for? It's a big contributor to healing. It's a initiator. If you don't forgive, then it's really you stuck, And forgiveness, I like to share with people something that I feel like I learned as far as forgiveness goes. Because if you don't forgive the people who you feel like wronged you, then you're only going to end up becoming them in some type of way. And then another thing about forgiveness, some people say, well, I forgive, but I'll never forget. But to say that I'll never forget is really not fully forgiving, just to be really 100 with it. When you really forgive somebody, you don't worry about the I won't forget part, because that's obvious. The way the brain works, you're not going to ever forget. So there's no need to say that. This is what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is when you can recall the situations or the situation that happened to you that caused you to feel negative or wronged. Is when you can think about those situations and not be triggered emotionally the same way that you were initially triggered emotionally. That's when you've forgiven somebody. When you can clearly remember what happened, but you don't feel the same way about it anymore because you have forgiven and you moved on. You've learned what you needed to learn from it, and you embrace it, and you're appreciative of it. Not appreciative of the act necessarily, because wrong is wrong, but appreciative of the person that it made you become. Now that's forgiveness.
Yeah.
So like we said at the beginning of this video, healing is in the eye of the healed. If you want to be healed, you want to look at situations that you experience as an opportunity to grow, to evolve, to heal, and heal others. So, yeah. I think that about covers that topic.
Yeah. And so, and there's different ways to know whether or not you're, moving towards that healing and that forgiveness. Just think about, the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Come here.
Are you guys trauma?
Oh, come here.
You upset because I want to give it to you?
She heard her brother coming in too. What's up? You say hi to everybody.
Say hi.
There you go.
But the people you surround yourself with, are you trauma bonding? Are you finding different things?
Yeah.
Are you finding different things and ways to escape your reality or going through that process of healing and different stuff. Even in this day and age of technology, like the different things that you resonate with and still post certain memes where you can tell a lot about, a person, because everything that we attach ourselves with, even our social media accounts, are extensions of us. So a lot of people, they'll try to excuse certain things they'll post, like, the things I post don't have anything to do with my life, blah, 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 but somehow you still resonated with it. You still felt relevance to post it and stuff. And so, I look at everything that I choose to extend myself through as a part of me, a reflection of me.
Yeah, in some type of way.
Some means it's it's funny, but it's some truth there that lies.
If it don't resonate, you ain't gonna share it. You ain't gonna interact with it in any type of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like something that you said too before, like as far as like when you get triggered by something, like recognizing that instead of allowing it to continue to trigger you, like stop for a second and be like, why do I feel this way about this? Like if you're in traffic and somebody cuts you off and you ready to start cussing them out or tell them to pull over on the side of the road, you gotta stop yourself for a second and be like, why? What's the point? You don't even know what they could have potentially unconsciously saved you from 5 miles down the road. You could have crashed and died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or they could be in an emergency situation. You don't even know.
You don't know.
If they was on their way to save a child or a loved one's life, then you wouldn't be mad at them. You would be like, oh, I understand. Go on by.
Yeah.
But because you don't know what they're doing, you just automatically assuming that they just cutting you off. They doing something to you. And it's like, they living their life. They ain't doing nothing to you. Obviously, they ain't even thinking about you, but you taking it personal. You gotta learn how to separate yourself from situations and don't take it personal. It's never personal. Right. Really, when you think about it, it's never personal. What somebody do don't ever have anything to do with you. It 9 times out of 10, it has to do with that person.
Mm-hmm. Just but if you triggered by it, and let me stop there. If you triggered by it, it is personal. Yeah. Because it do got something to do with you.
The triggering is
because a thing that one person did, it could be 10 other people that perceived it differently and they wasn't triggered by it. Somebody immediate thought could have been like, oh yeah, they in a rush because of blah, blah, blah. Why do you feel so like, oh, they did something to me? That was a direct attack on me, that they cut me off and blah, blah, blah. You have to process that and figure out why. Yeah,
the triggering is personal.
Yeah.
The allowing of the triggering by you is personal.
Yeah.
The other person did, that ain't personal. They would have cut off anybody. It could have been anybody else in your car when they cut through over in that lane, and they would have did the same thing. And that's an easy way to recognize that you don't got to take it personal. You just got to figure out why you was triggered by it, because that is revealing itself to you so you can deal with it. Because if you never got triggered by it and it was an issue you needed to work out, then you wouldn't deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, I heard an example about lactose or non-lactose intolerant, and I don't know if everybody know, but most people are lactose intolerant because that's the natural state. And if you're not lactose intolerant, then it's something that's not all the way right, because, your body is still going to suffer the negative effects from it down the road if you consuming things, lactose or whatever. It's health issues that's caused by that or whatever. And even if you don't have no symptoms on the outside, you have no way of knowing that it's affecting you, But if you throwing up when you drink a glass of milk, or, you having some type of negative, gas in your stomach or whatever when you drink some milk, then it's a sign that you probably shouldn't be drinking that. So it's your body trying to tell you something is wrong, like deal with it. So it's the same thing with situations that you might face. Right. You trigger by it, you having a reaction to it. Your mind or your soul or your body is having a reaction to something. It's time to look at that and see what you need to adjust. That's all. Right. That's all it's doing.
Not, oh, this is just the way I am.
Yeah. Don't condemn yourself.
Right.
Don't condemn yourself.
Like that's as far as you can grow to.
My road rage on 1,000.
And that's just how I am.
That could end you up in jail or dead or whatever.